Hey there, you uncuttable tapion swords. You may be asking yourself, what the fuck are you wearing? Well, this is what I think they're going to wear in the future. So we're talking about the future today, guys. Mega Man Battle Network is one of those series where I feel like everyone played it and no one gave a shit about it at the same time. And the farther away we get from it, the more I realize it has a lot to say about the future that we live in now, because we are basically living in the Battle Network future. I mean, I'm not wearing rollerblades right now like they do in the game, but just imagine that I am. This feels like the kind of thing where instead of me putting on like the gaudiest combination of things I can put on, what I really should be doing is writing a long research essay like what they do for those other Mega Man games. Nah, maybe some other day. So we basically live in the Mega Man Battle Network future. There is one time where I was at work and the internet just stopped working, and I work in the finance department, and I'm just unable to do shit. Like I'm done for. Like I'm over here blissfully awaiting the day someone says, "All right, well I guess the internet's just fucking down. You could take off for the day." That unfortunately didn't happen. They made us stick around for like 3 hours because I fucking hated that job. That's a story for another day. Yeah, so I fucking hated that place. No, that wasn't what I was talking about. And when I went outside, because I guess I just, said, fuck it, I'll take my lunch, there were just a bunch of people, because I'm working in the financial district, just in suits, just kind of walking around, all confused. And they're all realizing at the same time, holy shit, this entire downtown area is basically only functioning based on the internet working. Um, like nobody can buy shit, like nobody can stop, can just jump into McDonald's, nobody can just jump into their local Starbucks or whatever to eat their food and take a longer lunch, because it's all connected to the internet. Nothing's working. Signs are putting up things that are saying, sorry, it's not working. And that reminded me of a Mega Man Battle Network thing, where for those of you who are uninitiated in the Mega Man Battle Network games, how things normally go down is that it's a world that's basically entirely connected by the internet. Like if you go out into the middle of the woods, you will get the internet. Now there's no Wi-Fi because it doesn't exist yet. Well, at the time, because it came out in like fucking 2000. But if I needed to charge my phone in the middle of the woods, if you look hard enough, you will find a tree with an actual like plug-in port for you to charge your phone and connect to the internet and send your email. Wow, this is a really dumb hat. To send your emails or do whatever it is. I love it. To do whatever it is that you need to do. And frequently, how villains normally do their thing is they take one of their net navies, which is the entity they use to fight with, sort of like Metabots or Pokemon, but they're just all reimagined version of classic Mega Man villains like Fireman or Iceman, except for they add .exe at the end of it, so you know that it's an executable file. Um, and they would go in and just make some aspect of the internet not work. Like they would just, knock down the hospital's servers. And not for good, because they don't have that kind of technology, but long enough to where it would be a serious issue. Like enough to where this is just outright terrorism. Like, making sure a hospital's things aren't working, or, getting by a bank's security system so you can just want and start stealing people's identities or even stealing their money, because it's a future that doesn't actually have physical money. Another really cool thing is that how now we're sort of fighting the tides of for at least video game people anyway. Do we want physical media, or do I think it'd be much more future? No, that's 290s. There we go. I think that there. Sorry. We're reaching a point to where we are having actual debates, and some people are actually fighting. Do we want physical media, or do we want all physical or digital, etc. I personally understand that we are moving towards a digital media future. but I just prefer having physical media, so I have a trophy for it. But, you know, I understand that some people don't see a difference. Like, there are some people that just don't care. Like, getting a video game day one, downloading it, besides, you know, hard drive space, is the exact same thing for them as going out to fucking Walmart or whatever to get it and then bring it back home and then installing it, because you're still doing the same shit. Megaman.exe has something very similar to this, where, you know, you fight with battle tips. They're basically trading cards, which, you know, it doesn't really matter. The mechanics don't really matter too much for what we're talking about here. But you can find battle chips in the real world just lying around, you know, the same way. Ooh, look, a treasure chest, bam, there it is. Or, ooh, look, a book, ooh, there's a battle chip. Hey, I'm Bob, do you want to buy these battle chips off me? Oh, sure. Why the fuck not? I'll take some of those. Or alternatively, hey, these are on sale. Do you want to digitally download them? And these two things are the exact same thing. There is nothing mechanically different about it. The same thing goes for cash and credit, which, you know, we're basically already there in regard to that, where, you know, there are some areas you can just be in where I personally haven't had cash on me in, like, I don't know, like 5 months. Because, you know, it's just all on credit card. Like, you don't really need, like, picking up a singular dollar and, you know, me just getting a singular dollar deposited into my bank account. It's basically, you know, the same thing. Like, of course, there are, you know, credit card fees, blah, blah, blah. But as far as, like, the everyday fucking Joe is concerned, assuming you're in a metropolitan area, these two things are basically the same. And that's a very interesting way of looking at the future. These are some things that Mega Man predicted. They were really far ahead of the curve. Up to and including the idea of the people who have net navies, which are basically glorified, I don't know, internet browsers, I guess. The idea of you needing to be like some sort of expert programmer, or you knew a dude that knew a dude that could get you this cool custom fireman.exe, you know, net navi, or in the case of Mega Man, a cool one based on a dude that you know. Spoilers, sorry. Oops. Versus, you know, just regular old plain Jane who says, you know what, I don't really net battle that much. I don't really need to deal with any viruses. I don't fight my dudes on the internet. I'm just some asshole. I'm just here to look at the anime titties on the internet. I'm just here to download my Game of Thrones. I'm just here to browse the YouTubes or, you know, Reddit or whatever the fuck people do. I'm gonna take a regular ass net navi and just have it that way, just to get a nice, you know, little color, whatever. Which also is a thing that is mirrored in real life in regards to system specs and what our computers do. Like, you might need a top of the line gaming PC custom built, or you might just be like me, where you just go, give me a system that can play video games, and we'll call it even. Now, the biggest aspect in which, you know, the battle network future differs from our own, besides the advent of wireless technology, and also, you know, anime being interpreted as, or real life situation being interpreted as like anime scenarios, and the rise of cyber terrorism being a serious issue instead of one where we say it's serious and broadband connection just go, no, it's not serious. That's why Billy Bob Thornton just jacked fucking 2,000 credit cards from Sony's email address. Oopsies. That was the work of bombman.exe. Not a big deal. I'm sure it won't happen again. That's not real. One aspect where it hugely differs is the idea of an internet culture. In the sense of, so our internet culture is based around being anonymous. Like, look at me, I'm wearing sunglasses. Like, I'm 100 times more comfortable wearing sunglasses, knowing that you probably wouldn't recognize me on the streets, even though, I don't know, you might. And that creates an environment where it's just, you know, easy to be dicks to people. Like, that might just be a cultural thing, but, you know, it's just easy to be an asshole. Like, I could just jump on my phone right now. I'm gonna jump on my cell phone Boop, Siri, tell Bobby he's an asshole. Done. Done. I mean, that wasn't my cell phone, but, we could pretend like it is. I won't tell if you don't. While for the Mega Man Battle Network feature, the idea is more rooted, and this again could be just a Japanese cultural thing, I don't know. Rooted more so in the idea of internet culture is still a culture. So there is a very particular expectation to still treat people the way that you would want to be treated. Like, we're still part of a community. There's no sense in calling, Janice a special snowflake because she's part of the Reddit community, and we're all one big family, not necessarily a happy one, but one where we're kind of on the same team here, so there's no real need for that. Like, we all basically kind of want the same things. We all want to be able to ask a question on the internet and not say, what a fucking goober, what a gay person, what an African American gentleman. I could have did that with my eyes closed, and you're just here thinking, I just want to know why my mouse isn't working. I just want to know how come when I hit space in between letters, the letters disappear. I just want the space to go in between it. I don't want the space to eat the letter. And instead you get, well, what a goober. I could do that. Me too. And then 3 more comments going, I have the same problem. Me too. Oh, yeah, that sucks. I'm having that same issue. That closed. Fuck that. That's awful. Nobody wants that. No one has ever liked that. Sorry. I got weird. Oh, God. I'm so angry. I'm going to have to change hats now. Sorry. That was a short intermission. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Also, there's the idea of being significantly less skeptical about things on the internet. Less so the idea of dubious claims, but more so the idea of actually seeing things that are suspicious. This isn't one that we've really encountered yet, but the thing that points out the most to me is that, again, spoilers for this game that is almost old enough to like legally bang, although I don't advise. So most NetNabbies are just regular programs. Like, they act like people, they are not people. Like, they are programs, they are a series of zeros and ones that do things. Now, this all flies out the window come Battle Network 4, but for the time being, NetNabbies are, without exception, a series of zeros and ones. Now, like, zeros and ones are, in this context, some more than the sum of their parts, but they're pieces of information that can be replicated as... I'm going to take this hat off now. They are pieces of information that can be replicated. But the thing is that they act human. We know they're not human. We know they don't have rights, but they act human. And, again, we shouldn't give them rights, but given the fact that they're acting this human, they are communicating with us on a one-on-one basis, we should treat them nicely. We should act as if they are human. So then, when you have more complicated situations like Megaman.exe, who is effectively an exact duplicate of a human being, slightly modified for practical NetNavi usage, or beings like Base.exe, who, again, functions independently and basically has the same sort of thoughts, feelings, and ideas, or at least a close enough facsimile to be a person. When you have to ask the question of, is this a person? No one, this isn't a thing where we all have to read Blade Runner 20 times. We have to go, hey, Gutsman, have you ever had a Dream Battle Electric Sheep before? No. The answer is close enough. That's good enough for me. You seem pretty convinced of this. This doesn't seem to be harming anyone. Go nuts. And I thought that was very interesting, because we sort of have the opposite thing, where if someone says something that seems even a little bit out of place, we are very in line to just, like, not only reject it, but stomp on them for believing it to be true. Like, not to sidua on you guys. So, like, let's say hypothetically someone says, I'm not sure if, like, he or she pronouns are for me. Like, you know, in the Mega Man Battle Network universe, which actually I think did happen in like, the fourth game, you know, they might just say, well, alright, you seem pretty convinced to me. I'm not an expert, but, you know, whatever. In today's, they're like, oh, you just want to be a gay person? You want to be a, you know, it's really fun, instead of actually saying a slur, just saying, like, the most politically correct thing possible instead of it. Ooh, what an African American gentleman you are. Uh, what a special snowflake cook you are. But you know, the Battle Network future is just kind of, whatever. I mean, you do you, I guess. Which is, side note, an interesting flavor of apathy that I never see in the SJW community. The SJW. Okay, we're talking about Mega Man. And so, you know, once you're treating programs, you know, relatively nicely, when, you know, things start getting kind of weird and you do have to start digging deep and saying, does this thing have a soul? It's not really that difficult of a question, because it's still doing the basic stuff you want it to do. Your toaster's still toasting, your oven's still ovening, your buddy that wakes you up in the morning, your bonsai buddy, maybe does have a soul, but ultimately that doesn't matter because you love them anyway. And that is something interesting. I don't know if it's something that we can take anything from, but it definitely is a very interesting idea of the future that it runs very much parallel, because we are basically at a point to where both of, like, you know, our world and the world of Mega Man Battle Network are kind of, you know, running like parallel to each other. Like, this is no longer a speculative future. There are areas where we have surpassed video game land, and areas where, you know, we looked at what video game land thought might be and said, nah, I have a better idea. So that's super interesting, and maybe we'll see another more thought out video where I'm not making goofs about the gaudiest anime thing I can wear. August. That's when I make videos, so if you thought this video was kind of neat, go ahead and subscribe. And if you thought it was lame, also subscribe, because I'm sure that won't hurt me at all. And if you thought this video was a video, you're correct. You're correct.